Welcome back to the second episode. I'm here with George. George, what's up?
What's up?
Carol, what's going on?
Hello, hello.
Guys, we're super, super excited. Thank you for all the feedback from the first episode. We're going to jump right into the juicy topic of today, which is, drum roll, please. Boom, 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 boom. The dating stage. Woo! So I'm actually just going to jump right into it and ask Carol. Carol, what's the difference between the talking stage and dating? Like, give us some sort of definition so we will be able to differentiate the two.
Okay, so my disclosures. I'm not speaking for the general population of the female species. I'm speaking for Carol and experiences from myself and my female friends. But I think that the difference between the talking stage and the dating stage is commitment, to some extent. So talking is more getting to know somebody, getting to figure out if this is something that you want to continue, in order to get to a goal. And usually the goal is a relationship. So that's talking. And then, with dating, it's more, oh, cutthroat. Okay, I'm interested in you. I actually like the energy you're giving me over this, for me, past month. Over this past month, I'm enjoying your energy. I'm enjoying you. I enjoy spending time with you. I feel like the things we've discussed in the talking stage align with what I want. So let's go ahead and continue to express interest in each other. So that's what I think is the difference.
Solid opening, Carol. George, how about you?
Yeah, same with Carol. These are mostly my views, my experiences, and I would like to say what I've seen. So I'll also make that clear on what I've seen. But for me, talking stage, think of it like when you're applying for a job, the CV. When you're sending out your CV, that's the talking stage, right? Just bullet points of what you're doing. Now I call you for an interview. That's the dating stage because I'm like, I've narrowed it down. I'm like, okay, I see. I like what I see on the CV, on the talking stage. Now, let me get to know you a bit more. That's for me. That's the definition for the dating stage.
All right, cool beans. So I'm getting from Carol a little bit more commitment vibes from the talking stage. And then from George, it's like, an interest to go deeper because you already like what you saw on the CV. And now it's like that, okay, more of the in-person part of this interview. So I actually have a question, right? Because I think everyone defines things differently. Like this question that I'm about to ask you guys. How many dates does it take for you guys to start saying, I'm dating someone? Let's start with Carol.
I wouldn't classify dating as equivalent to how many times someone has taken me out on dates. But that's my definition of dating. I feel like I would have expressed the interest, and because we are dating does not mean every single occasion is a date. On occasion it's more, hi, I like you, I'm interested in you, and we're getting to know each other, and that's just how we're calling this phase of dating. But yeah, that's I don't know. I can't answer that question because I don't view it as the amount of times I've been taken out, or the amount of times that dates have been set for me to consider it dating. Yeah, because I think it encompasses more than that. It encompasses more than that.
Okay, George, it sounds like you're agreeing with what Carol is saying.
Yes, very true. Because there are some people. I mean, taking out somebody can also just not be dating. It's just like, okay, I'm out here for fun, right? I'm also enjoying this experience. Maybe I just don't want to do it alone. So just basing it off on like X number of dates now we're dating is not a good metric, right?
Okay.
There's some people who've gone out on like 2 dates, but because you guys have talked on call, then it escalates to that. But some people have gone out on like 5, 6 dates, and now it's not dating. So that's it.
Okay. So like George, for you to say like you're dating someone, you have to have that intention of wanting to get to know the person and not necessarily like going on dates with this person because you don't want to do something by yourself, right? Like that's part of it.
Yes. Because
Okay, got
sometimes,
it.
I mean, I've gone out on dates, so I'm just like, well, I'm here for fun. I'm here for the food. If you want some, if you're willing to join me for some company, let's go. And after that, we all go our separate. You know.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, because I was trying to get to this, like I was having a conversation with my cousin, and we were talking about, okay, like if someone has taken you out on like one date, would you say you're dating them, right? And for me, I would definitely say no. I mean, one date, no, I wouldn't say I'm dating someone, or even two, or even three. But at some point, I guess with the intention of wanting to get to know that person, there has to be like that interest inside of me. And then after like a certain number of dates, which I agree with Carol. I don't necessarily have a set number. But like after at least 3 dates, then I can maybe say like I'm dating someone, but definitely not like, just after one date or 2 dates with somebody.
Well, I would say just make it explicit. Ask the person, are we dating? I think because
Mm.
then if you start assuming things and someone's like, no, we're not dating, that's very awkward. So I would say you're dating when you actually explicitly say, are we dating?
Oh, wow.
Instead of assuming. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Hmm.
So basically what you're saying is coming from the talking stage, there has to be some sort of conversation that then says we're dating. Like you can't just slide
Yeah.
Yes.
into dating.
No.
No.
Oh
Mm-mm.
no,
Okay.
no.
Okay, so yeah, that makes things very interesting, right? And I'll jump into the next question and then dig more into what you just said, George. So when you're dating, would you date one person at a time or like more than one person at a time? So you can speak from experience or just your thoughts on that.
Um, one. Okay. If we're talking about traditional monogamy, yes, I'm dating one person at a time.
That's interesting. I don't know if Carol will
Yeah.
agree. Carol, would you say you're dating one person at a time or like
No.
multiple?
Multiple.
Bring on the spice. Bring on the spice. What's the tea,
No,
girl? What's the
because
tea?
no, it's not even that. It's just yes, I've acknowledged that you are one of the candidates. Sorry, this is going to sound bad.
It doesn't sound bad.
but
I
but
get what you're saying.
but I think it's reality, right? And I'm basing this off experiences and also, my friends' experiences as well. And just the same thing, it's just no, you're not only one person, because you're not in a relationship, we're not yet in a commitment. I think it's more the awareness of I'm interested in you and I want to get to further me and you knowing each other to establish a relationship if possible. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even put a number. Do I? I, I, I have a limit, because there's only so much care you can get. There's only 7 days out of the week. Imagine, you start to run into discrepancies, if I may say. Um, so you don't want to mispronounce someone's name, and you also don't want to like undermine someone's time they're spending with you. So you also don't want to be having 10 people. So, but for me,
Mm.
I think the maximum I think for me was three. Um, and it was like okay, it was evenly distributed in terms of what was happening between the three, and when I proceeded with time, you know process of elimination. So
Mm.
but
Evenly distributed. How? This one is
no,
She's
but
balanced.
like
she
you
gives
know
each guy 2 days a week, and then on the seventh day she rests.
Ah,
I
there's
rest.
there's definitely there's
And
definitely
see.
someone who
No, but no,
someone.
no, no. Like it also depends on some people are more communicative over the phone, some more okay, let's say for example, one person is out of town and is not always in town. So it's not like every single
Mm.
week. So, there are those varieties
Mm.
or environments that just make things different. But yeah, I would say, don't like I'll never go over a max of like 5 people because that's just too much work
Mm.
for me. But for some people, that may be cake. You know,
Mm.
but I think the max I've done was three, and yeah, that's me.
I think this brings up something that's very interesting, right? And Carol, you actually went into this a bit. These discrepancies that you're talking about. Personally, like being
Hmm.
very, very open, I have gone on first dates with
Okay.
multiple people. Like, let's say like over a weekend. I think my maximum I did like three back. I did like three back-to-back dates, basically, Um, but those are just first dates with people. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, like I've never dated multiple people. Because once I say like I'm dating someone, I feel like at that point I'm kind of like leaning more towards what George is saying, where it's kind of like there's now more focus towards one. Maybe that's just how I'm emotionally wired, right? So like once I get to like, like you said, Carol, you're talking to multiple people. Maybe you go on like a first date with each of those people, or even like a second date. But you know, for me, I guess how it's worked out in the past is I somehow at some point get more drawn or feel more drawn to one person, and then that's the person who like I would then say I'm dating this person. The other people, it could be like I just went on first dates, or like I went on like two dates with them.
Okay, so what I'm picking up as well, Michelle, as you're explaining that, for me, how you're explaining your situation is that a date is a date, right? But
Mm-hmm.
whatever happens, the value of the date is not dependent on is it first date or second date. Because your first analysis. Okay, so for example, like the first date that you went with this person, you're like, okay, this one, I'm not gonna go on the second date with, right? And
Yes,
that
for
was
some, for some.
yeah, and that was over like multiple people. So are we now saying that because you can go on multiple dates, first time dates with
Mm-hmm.
several people, that
Mm-hmm.
kind of like lowers the number of people you're dating at the time, or pretty much changes the concept of you saying that, oh, I view dating as monogamous, but you went on
Yes.
first dates with several people.
So okay, so I didn't say, I guess the monogamous words came from George. Uh
Yes.
Maybe I guess when I try to explain it, it will sound like I'm saying monogamous. But my whole thing is this, right? Emotionally, like emotional
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
capacity, just how I am wired. If I'm talking to say like 10 people in one go, there's gonna be one person who I'm somewhat going to be more drawn to. So
True.
like
True.
even though I go on like first dates and second dates with like these other people, there's gonna be that one person who I want to spend more time with. And so if someone was to ask me like, hey, are you dating someone? Then I'd be like, yeah, I am dating someone. But I wouldn't say like I'm dating multiple people, because with those people, I just don't feel as drawn. So I think it's kind of, it goes back to the disclaimers that you gave, right, Carol, that like you're speaking from your experience. I'm speaking from my
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
experience and like my emotional wiring. I feel like, kudos to people who are able to actually like go on multiple dates with like, multiple
But
people, right? I think it's really commendable. And it's so funny because you also mentioned discrepancies. And I was like, man, like, how do you keep Jeff, John, Jonas, Johannes, separate? Like, aren't you going to slip up and call John Jeff, But yeah, George, I think you sounded like you had something to say.
yeah, because then I was like, I mean, first date, I feel like that's still the talking stage, right?
Right.
I
I mean,
wouldn't
yeah.
consider first date dating. I mean,
I see. I think, let's talk from, okay, post talking stage. You've now
talking
established
stage.
that you like somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I feel like that's when dating starts to play in, because
Uh-huh.
emotionally you're like, oh, out of the people that I'm talking to, this is the one I connect with the most.
Yeah.
Not
And
the
I
Yeah.
one,
think,
not the one,
well, yeah,
not the
yeah.
one.
That's
Sorry.
that's what I was gonna say, Carol. That like you see exactly what you said. Where for you,
Mm,
it's not the one person. You're able to like connect with like multiple people in one go. But for me, man, I mean, I don't know. It's like a blessing and a curse at the same time, because it's like I could have talked to multiple people, but there's gonna be like one person who like all my like efforts would go to. Does that make sense?
I see.
I
I
Yeah.
wouldn't,
I also just
and
learned.
I would also support that even in the three people, that there's always a favorite out of the three, and then the two is kind of like, they're running a race, to be honest.
That's what
So
I
I
was
can see,
saying. Like, who's your favorite? It
but
has to be a
but
favorite.
it's not monogamous because you have a favorite, is it? You still have three people that are in play,
Yeah.
but there's a favorite player. There's Ronaldo, out of
Mm,
the whole team. Okay,
yeah.
but it doesn't make that monogamous because you're still entertaining two other people.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you know
Um.
what? I don't know why. I think just using the word monogamous is monogamous to me is a word I would use after the relationship has been defined. Like after we've said we're in a relationship, then yeah, I would use the word monogamy. But like, I don't know if I would want to use a word as strong as monogamy or polygamy during the dating stage, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
like me too. I wouldn't. But George, do you want to?
Yeah. Because I've learned with you women, with you women, hey, there you say that you're dating multiple people, my friend. That is fire. That is fire. So me, I've just learned, if you're in a monogamous relationship, even talking is already a problem if you're talking to multiple girls. I can imagine you're like, are we dating? Just So I've just learned from experience. If you're in a monogamous relationship, or that's where you're headed, dating, you just pick one. If it goes bad, you just go pick another one.
I like that. I
That's
like
how
that
it
a
is,
lot.
man.
But okay. So with George, your point, what? I actually like your point, because now I want to ask everyone a question, because you just said, yeah, you can go pick another one. But if you had two other team players that were performing close enough, you didn't have to like stop the play to go find another sub. You literally just continue play. No, seriously, like you.
You reduce the game time. You reduce the game time. You reduce the game time.
Okay, so you just said, if post dating and then you realize that you guys are not compatible or whatever, you can just go pick another one. So what I'm saying is, if it's dating, I would see it as an example of having 3 people, because if your favorite falls short, you now have 2 people that you already invested time in, and you're already talking to and already know their names, that you don't need to go outside of the scope of what you've already gotten into. But I don't know.
You know what, Carol? I mean, I actually have a question for you on this one, because you have 3 top players, right? You have these great players. Everyone is shooting their shot, killing the game. But like you said, you have a favorite. Now, what happens if, the one of the other 2, who's not the favorite, beats the favorite to asking you out, or not asking you out, to making things more like, official? Then what happens, right? Because to me, I feel like, what are you going to do? Your favorite is Ronaldo, but Ronaldo is still out here dribbling the ball, fumbling the bag. So what are you going to do in that case?
Yeah, I mean, as much as Ronaldo is my favorite, I feel like I'm in control of the play. Okay. So, if it's a situation where someone decides, I would even evaluate and say, hey, I don't think this is the right time to move forward. With me, I'm not yet secure with our situation enough for me to be confident that we're going to move forward. And then, I don't disclose, but I wouldn't disclose that I have a Ronaldo. I'll tell you that right now.
Can I just say, Carol? Carol has mastered the game, guys. Carol has literally mastered the game. What?
No. Okay, no, seriously. Don't disclose that there is a Ronaldo.
Of course.
But it's not deception. It's just, it's your best interest at heart. I know I sound so bad, but I'm telling you, like, yeah, I would be very much open with just saying I'm not in an uncomfortable position for me to continue this situation. But if you give me more time, or if you want to give us more time, then great. But if not, at the end of the day, if they choose to say, hey, I can't wait, or even how long, then you can go ahead, and now you have down to 2 players. Right.
So let me paint this for you, Carol. Let me paint this for you. So you have a favorite Ronaldo, a favorite player, Ronaldo, right? And Ronaldo has his favorite player in his game, but you're not the favorite player. So you're telling, this other person, Lionel Messi, that, hey, you know what? I'm not ready to secure. I'm not feeling secure with our situation yet. Just give me a little bit of time. But Ronaldo is also talking to somebody else who's his favorite and trying to secure that situation. So don't you end up in situations where you are waiting for Ronaldo to score, basically, like Ronaldo to basically bring it home and say, like, I want a relationship? Because I feel like then it ends up being like a waiting game, right? Like, imagine if Ronaldo is being told to wait by somebody else. So you're waiting for that person to make a decision, and you're still like in the situation with like these other 3 people.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not Ronaldo who's in control of the situation. If I also see that Ronaldo seems like, he's also having another favorite, like, okay, that brings up the 2 other players to come. No, seriously, this is mad. Okay, playing, I'm not seriously, but I understand where you're coming from, and I can understand that. Oh, because you have a favorite, you could be clouded in terms of judgment, or even just giving the other two opportunities. But it's still, you have to be realistic in the fact that because it's a dating phase, that other person. For me, I don't like being told that, oh, I'm talking to other people, I'm dating other people. I do not.
See,
Like,
you
because the
see,
moment,
I told you.
because let me tell, and that's why I don't say it, because the moment I hear it, I tune out. Like, I'm like, okay,
See?
bye. Messi, how
So
are you?
so you want to
Yeah.
pretend as if, so you're pretty much like going into this trying to pretend as if you're the only player who's talking to multiple people, but these
When
other
you
people are
say
just.
pretend, it makes it seem like I'm lying.
Oh, no. I mean, that's what it's not pretend, but like you want to convince yourself. Because I don't see why there's a problem with someone telling you they're seeing multiple people if you're also seeing multiple people, right? Like you're doing the same thing. So I don't see
Yeah.
It's an
why.
ego thing.
The problem is it can stop you from continuing, because if there's a reason you go to one car dealership for the same car. There's a reason you go to one car dealership and you don't tell them that you're going to another. I'm sorry, like illustration. When I tell you this is how I work every single day, illustrations just make sense to me. There's not one
They
time that
do.
I will go to one car dealership and then knowing that I want to get this car and tell them that no, I got a deal from this other place. There's not, because all you're trying to do is the interest for yourself, for your pocket, and anything that's invested in you primarily. So so yeah, I guess that will answer. Little mix up here
Mm.
right now. But
Whoa, man, that was deep. George, any comments on
Yeah.
that one before we move on to the
No,
next
no,
question?
I see. For me, like I told you, females don't want to know that you're seeing other people. Doesn't matter. So, like I said, me, I've just learned if it's headed to a monogamous relationship, it may not have been like obvious, or it may not have been stated that okay, we're in a relationship, because that's still coming. But as long as you're dating, just stick to one. And then the other thing with me though is, if you have a pool of people and you're like, okay, I don't know any female soccer players, so I'll just go. Let me just drop the soccer because it's gonna be awkward for me. If you have a favorite player and you have like say two substitutes, right? If your favorite player doesn't come through, right? For me, I just like to reshuffle the pool, because then, whether you like it or not, implicitly, this person will always be your second best. And subconsciously, you will always compare it to the person. Like, I could have picked this other person, but now I picked you. So for me, it's just easier. I reshuffle the deck, and then I get new pool.
Wait, so in other words, George, does that
because
mean?
then there's a reason why I didn't pick number 2. I wanted number 1, and that reason is not going to go away.
Wait, so George, does that mean that you're gonna go back to start? Like you're gonna go back to the online dating site and start talking to new people and find another number 1 in that pool?
Yes.
Oh snap!
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was actually gonna ask, right, like George, that like you were saying, you will find the one person and pursue that. If it's heading towards a monogamous relationship, that's what you're running with until you can secure the deal, right, or like close the transaction. And then I was like, well, then what happens with those people that you had a connection with? Because are you gonna go back to them? Because I can imagine, like, let's say I was talking to a guy and we had gone on a few dates or whatever, then he just goes cold turkey, and then he then comes back after some time talking about, hey, what's up? I would be like offended, right? So I think I like what George is saying, where he just goes back to start to look again.
Yeah, and that's why I said in the previous episode, talking stage, keep it very platonic. Don't even flirt. Maybe you compliment, like, oh, you look good, because then that removes any gray area. Because then once you start doing other stuff, then it becomes really awkward really fast. These are wise. I learned through fire, my friend. Let me not even think about those things. Anyway, keep going.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, my next question to you guys was going to be like, do you typically tell, the other people you're involved with that you're seeing multiple people, and do you expect people to tell you? I mean, I've heard
Mm.
from Carol that she doesn't want the guys she's talking to tell her what their business is on the streets. She also is not going to be out here telling them. George, to you, it sounds like you have a standard, you just tell them you're the only one that I'm talking to. Do you expect, George, that girl to tell you if she's like talking to other people?
I mean, for me, I don't mind if you're talking to other people or not. It just doesn't matter for me.
Oh, but does it change your mindset though if she tells,
No,
okay, after you've disclosed that, hey, listen, you're the one I'm interested in since you're so Mr. Monogamous, right? Uh,
I say
Yeah.
I specified that if we're heading to a monogamous, because I've dabbled in other things before, so I'm just
okay, so
specifying.
now now you're in that path, and then she discloses that, oh, I know you want to be or you're interested in me, but I'm also, whilst knowing that, oh, I'm interested in you, but I'm also interested in other people. How does that make you feel, or does that change? It
Me,
doesn't change.
no, it doesn't change.
Yay,
Right?
you're
Because I
strong. I'll
understand.
tell
I'm
you
like,
that.
well, yeah, I'm like, okay, I get your reason. You want, I just have a particular way of doing things, and that's working for
Mm,
me. If you're doing it and you're still shopping around, that's fine. Of course, if you take too long, then I jump ship, right? Because then I
What's
also
too
don't want
long?
someone who's too long. Is like, okay, we're say it's been like 2 months, and
Mm.
there's constant communication, and gone on more than a couple of dates, and then you're still wishy-washy. I'm like, move on, man. In fact, 2 months might be even too long.
Mm. Okay.
mm.
Yeah, especially
Okay.
if we're talking every day. If you're talking every day and we've gone on like multiple dates, I think even a month, where I'm just like, okay, are you sure now? Are you not? Are you still searching? Because then that means I'm not her number one, which is fine. I don't really mind. It's just don't waste my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. So, you know what? I was then gonna go into asking about like how long the stage should go for, but let's just pause on that. My question is, so while you're going, on these dates with these different people, right? And this question is gonna go to Carol first. What's the
Mhm.
expectation? Are you like are all these guys like the ones who are paying? Do you expect them to pay every time they take you out? Or like are you splitting the bill? What's going on? Is the sister eating for free out there?
She sure is.
Did you say it sure is?
Yes. And no, let me tell you, right? It's not that I cannot do that, because I went through a phase of doing things so much for myself. And sometimes I scream, "Oh, I'm independent. I'm independent. I'm this independent." But as I am growing within myself, I'm understanding that why was I doing it? It's really, I feel like the gesture is nice when someone does that for me as well. I'm not saying when I do things for myself, I don't really appreciate it, but when it's just expressing, and that ties into love languages as well, right? So I'm not saying them paying for dates is a love language, but most of the time I've gone by with not having to do that, and I've not complained about it. And when I do see fit, like there's certain moments, like I just don't ride the wave all the time. If it's something that, an idea of mine, or it's a craving of mine, because I love food. So, if it's a craving of mine and I suggested it, like for sure, like I definitely, take out my wallet. I don't have a problem with it. But the fair majority, it's them doing all the paying of these dates
All
without
right.
having to question anything.
Okay. I mean, much respect, honestly, for that. George, what's going on your end? Or not
Right?
what's going on your end, or how has it been on your end when you're going on like, I guess, multiple dates with people? Are you the one who's like paying for everything typically?
Yeah, always. No questions asked.
Oh,
Okay.
great.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
was paying.
so let's actually talk about this just a little bit. I don't want to go too deep into it. Why is it that you just expect that you're the one who should pay, George?
Me, okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a strategy, right? So one, you show that you have resources. Very important for ladies to know that you have resources.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that you're not petty. Like if you go out on a date, maybe an ice cream, and you can't even pay $50 on ice cream. That's bad rep. You've started on a wrong footing, right?
Oh
Even if
my
she's
gosh.
not gonna want, even if she's not gonna want you, man, she's gonna know that you have, some to spare. So if you can't even take her on a $15 ice cream date, that's just bad rep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And two, that puts you above other people, especially if you're dating, back home in Kenya, anywhere else really, but it's really
Yeah.
more prominent in Kenya. Guys don't pay for dates, right? They always just like, oh hey, what are you doing? Come over. That's pretty much the dating style.
Mm.
So if you take someone out and you show that, hey, let's go have fun, and you have no expectation of where the date would be, it really sets you apart. So it's multiple, it's multifaceted. And usually I'm the one who invites the person. I'm like, if I invite you, then I should pay.
I like that. I
Yeah.
like that a lot, George. Much respect for that answer. Carol, question for you. So as a girl, or as a
Mhm.
woman, right, going on these dates, have you ever run into a situation where you felt like someone wanted to get physical with you just because they were paying, and it was like explicit, like for the fact that I paid for you, like I'm expecting something at the end of the date?
Yeah. I have not, and I feel like that's because of how I present myself anytime I go on a date.
Okay.
So I'm not the most serious of people, but I always even before you are in my presence. Like when I'm texting, when I'm calling, I'm very much on establishing the boundary of, I don't like being touched at all. Like I don't do it. And I emphasize it, like even if I'm joking around, I'm like, oh yeah, this situation happened and someone touched me and I almost fought someone. People think that, oh, you're overly reacting, but it's just a respect of personal space. So
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, I've not been caught up in a position where because they took me out, they felt entitled to go anything past the date itself. So yeah,
Yeah,
no.
that's really good. I mean, it's really good to hear that. I think there've definitely been people out there who've experienced that whole
Mm-hmm.
thing where some men feel entitled just because, oh, I paid for you, like, at least
True.
give me a kiss at the end of the night. And I really like what you
Mm.
said, Carol. It's kind of like setting those boundaries. And for women who are listening to this, you should never, ever, ever feel like you owe anyone anything, especially for a meal. Like,
Oh, a
you don't,
meal?
yeah, even for a meal, like you don't owe
Mm-hmm.
anyone like a kiss or anything like that at the end of the day just because like they paid for like a date or whatever, no matter how much it costs. Like if you don't feel like kissing somebody, you don't have to kiss anyone. Wow, that was
And just
Yeah.
Auntie
just to add,
Michelle coming through. Yeah, go ahead.
no, and I also agree with that, right? It doesn't. It's no one should force you to do that, right?
Hmm.
But then I also want to add, if I'm taking you out on a date, there's a
Mm-hmm.
proper etiquette. Because I've been on a date where the person was buying, they were very skinny and they were buying a lot more food. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna fit, right? But this person buys food to pack it
Oh my
to
gosh.
go back home with it. See,
Oh
now
no.
that's a no. That's a no. That's just like,
I'm
okay,
Oh
this is
sorry. That wasn't a
gosh.
point. That was a fact. Like you should not do this, ladies. Okay. He was giving
Oh
advice
gosh.
of what
yeah,
not to do. I think at that point that's taking advantage of someone's pocket.
yeah,
And that's
Yeah.
yeah, that's definitely not it. I'm not here to be providing your breakfast, lunch, and supper for tomorrow. No.
exactly. And
It's
then
I'm
crazy to
yeah.
order
yeah,
And
things
it's
to go on somebody. That's
mm,
crazy. That is
yeah,
crazy.
I
On
mean
a
I
date?
can yeah,
yeah,
sometimes like you can get to like a point where you're overwhelmed with the meal. Like sometimes even me, like okay, I for me, I love food, I eat a lot, but on first dates, trust and believe me, I'm not going to finish that food on a one seating. So if it's like one plate, like and then you didn't finish and then you can take it at home, that's what I would do.
yeah. No,
But
that's
then I'll
fine.
never overly buy food to just say, hey, just pack it to go already.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what, George? I
yeah.
think this story, yes, we take the lessons, but also just having a kick out of it. I think it's really, shows how secure your bag is that someone wanted to wanted to get food for their whole family.
I
Oh
still
my
paid
gosh.
because then I was like, it's fine.
You know what, George? At
But
that
then
point,
that was the last time I went out with them. Yeah.
George, you know what? Actually, for this one, I would have given you a pass. Like, if you told me, like, after everything she did, you just said, sis, it's on you. Like, I would still have respect for you because that's some crazy behavior. Like literally, that's some crazy behavior. I hope that this girl
Yeah.
isn't doing this to other men out there. So cool beans. George, kicking this to you. So carrying on from like our talking stage conversation, you mentioned that you don't do like physical intimacy in the talking stage, you keep it platonic.
Mhm.
What's the story for the dating stage for you?
All right. Now, dating stage, you escalate it a bit because
Come on.
then the girl needs to feel that you're attracted to her, right? Because physical chemistry is a thing, right? So you start flirting a bit. Still, still keep it PG. Maybe hold hands if that's possible. Peck on the cheek, maybe a quick peck on the lips, but nothing like very sexual.
Lip sync, lip sync.
There's
You said no
there's an
tongue.
intensity. No. Because then there's an intensity where you're like, okay. It's just like you're also testing that physical. Because sometimes you can be attracted to somebody, but once you start trying to share that boundary, because then I think for me it's very important also to have chemistry without anything being over sexualized,
Hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
that's not gonna, if you base your relationship, which I have before, on that, then it's just gonna it's gonna fizzle out real quick, right?
Mm.
Because what happens when someone's not in the mood or you're not in the mood, then it can't really fix everything. So having physical chemistry without it being overly sexual is very important. So dating
Mm-hmm.
stage is where you test it out, because then you're also keeping your boundary and all that kind of stuff. And just to echo what Carol said, I also really don't like when people touch me without my permission. Doesn't matter how hot you are or whatever you look like. I just don't like it. I need to get to know somebody first before I let them in my space. So that's very important for me as well.
I like that a lot. And kind of taking it from what you said, George, a relationship based on thirst will dry out. Wow. That was
Yes.
so profound.
Yes.
That was so
Hmm.
profound. Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a really good thing that you brought out, that like you do want to make sure that in this stage you don't slip into the brother zone, or for women into the sister zone. So you do want to like,
Mm.
show like, hey, like, I think you're cute, or I think you're like good
Hmm.
looking, or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But I also really like what you said, where it's like you don't over sexualize things too quickly.
Hmm.
Cool, cool. So yeah, to wrap up this segment of just dating, um, Carol, let's start with you. How long do you think this stage typically lasts for you? Is there like a cutoff? I know in the last episode you were like, a month of talking sounds solid. How about dating?
I think another month, we can add it on there, of dating,
Okay.
just because, yes.
And at this point, this is just dating all three players, right? This is just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool beans, testing
Yeah,
the
about
waters.
a month. Yeah, a month. And even sometimes, like, a month is like a rough estimate, but I would
Mm-hmm.
even say if you click on so much and you're so confident with your Ronaldo, I keep referring back to Ronaldo. If you're confident in your Ronaldo and then you don't feel like you are investing in the other two, then you can go ahead and just announce that, hey, listen, I'm just talking to you and you only, and then move forward. But I would think a month if you have three players, to deal with, and
Mm,
you're really conflicted about making a decision.
sounds good. How about you, George?
The variables is how well you guys connect,
Mm-hmm.
um, how easy it is to just get to know get to know each other on a more deeper level. There's some people where you connect and it's really powerful, and some people it takes a bit of time. It's not that you don't connect, but it takes a bit of time, due to so many other issues. Like if you're the third player in this Ronaldo game. Um, So those factors, but I would say between a month seems reasonable. Like I said, if you're Ronaldo and if you're Messi, you're not Ronaldo, and the person is still waiting after a month to decide who your Ronaldo is, then for me I'm like, okay, it's a waste of time
Mm. Okay,
No
okay,
hard
I
feelings
see.
though. I understand. I never have hard feelings. I'm just like, you know what, didn't work out. It's fine. It's cool.
Okay, much respect for that. Um, cool beans. Well, I guess we're just gonna slip into the exclusive dating part. And I think this is interesting, right? Because George, it sounds like from the onset, like your eye is already like
Mm-hmm.
on one person. So
Mm-hmm.
you were actually kind of exclusively dating that person, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then
Mm-hmm.
for Carol, so this would be directed to you. Um, who makes the call for exclusivity? Um, do you think like the girl should do it? Do you expect the guys to do it? What's the story?
I think in my position, it's normally the guys that do, and that will be my preference. Just because of like the type of guy that that I usually look at. So, he's stating his intention. He's stating that this is something that I want. So
Hmm.
he should lead that conversation, and I be a follower. But yeah, he's definitely going to say it before I ever do.
So what
Like
But
happens
ever.
if
you women have the famous line, what are we? That's asking for exclusivity. Eh?
You
What
know
are we?
what?
I was
Eh?
actually gonna
True,
ask
true.
Carol because I was like, you mentioned 1 month of dating, but what happens if the month comes and all three of these guys are just still kicking it with you?
Okay, so you know, I would like to say, based off my experiences, I've always had experiences where I've been asked and I say yes, right? And it's never something that I've never asked that question ever. Like I've never asked that question until like another situation happened. But
Sorry, it's not like you've never asked. You never asked. You have. What are you
yeah,
yeah.
no,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah. But I wanted to, for the people that are out there that have, it's very possible, right? Like there's even conversation or even points where it wasn't clear to me. It didn't come as, oh, can I be? What are we? I've never asked that question. But hey, it got to a point where I was put into a situation where I was tested about that, and I really, really like the person. You know what I mean? So at the end of the
Mm.
day, I started asking that question, but I think it was with reason, and with reason is because, a lot of time was invested in that, and then, just sharing so much time. So I was asking, and it was within reason. So, yeah.
Wait. Hold up. I got confused. Did you say that he said, "What are we" to you?
No, I
Oh,
said it. Like I said, yeah, I said,
oh, okay,
how
okay.
I've never said it before, but I've said
Hmm.
it once in my situation.
So,
Yeah.
so, okay. And I mean, feel free to not share if you don't want to go into it. How did that whole situation play out, right? When you said, like, what are we? Like, did he then say we're together? What happened from there?
Um, um, okay, so I said because it was just a situation where what. Listen, I'm not ready to talk about this one. Okay,
Okay, okay.
because
And we can put it
and
on pause. We can.
yeah, we can put it on pause. For another episode. Another story time. But
We
Mm-hmm.
can
when
speculate
it
it.
was within reason that I stood by it, because even the actions post, oh, him not answering that question, I stood by them
Mm,
because I could see the actions were matching what he was saying, and you know what I mean. So
I
yeah,
Mm.
see.
it's a little complicated, but I felt it was right for me to continue in that situation regardless of the answer not being something that I wanted, right? So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I like that. I think that the story that you just shared briefly with us, it shows women that, hey, you know what? You can get to that point where you're like, I need to know, like, what are we? And I
Hmm.
feel like it's a very, well, actually, it just depends on the type of woman or whatever, or like who the person is. But I feel like personally for me, it's so awkward to ask someone that question. And like, I really
Hmm.
try not to be the one to ask you, like, what are we? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like you said, Carol, I definitely would 100% prefer the other person say like what the story is. So yeah, I think your story just shows that, hey, you know what? It's okay to get to a point where you ask the person like, what are we, if you're really like in
Hmm.
that situation where you're like, okay, it's just been too long and we need to move things along.
Yeah.
So
I
Carol,
think I
next.
think
Oh,
another
sorry. Go
I
ahead,
think
George.
another one is just to establish it in the talking stage. Be like, okay, I'm actually, you know, looking for something serious. I think if you establish that, then it lowers the chance of being like, okay, what are we, right? Because then this person is aware. I would say that
You know
it's
what?
difficult. You have to do it in a very tactful way, right? You have to
Yes,
do it
that's
in
what
a
I was
very.
about to say. That you can't go full force.
You can't go.
Hey, I'm
Yeah,
looking for
because
a
then that's
relationship.
No, but
no.
I
Just be
also want to
like.
say, go ahead,
Mhm.
George. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just like it depends on how you say it, right? You can say, okay, you know, this is the. I don't know how you'd say it. It's you women who say it mostly. Because guys sometimes they just wait and see. They're like, if I can see what I can get away with. But there are people who are also very serious, right?
Yeah.
So
And I mean,
yeah.
you know what, George? I know you said establish things in the talking stage, but I think that like how things start is not always what you're going to see as time progresses. So like right from the beginning, maybe both of you were talking like, oh hey, yeah, we're definitely heading towards a relationship. But then, through this whole like talking stage, these dating stages, these like, oh, what are we not, and all of that stuff, time just passes, right? And you're spending so much time together. And the person, the guy is just feeling very comfortable in the position that he's in, that he doesn't feel like he needs to commit. So like, even though it was established in the talking stage, I feel like for some people, you still have to like get to a point where you're like, okay, like
Okay.
I need to
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
put my foot down or like hear what the story is from you.
Yeah, and so I'll speak on something like for me, sometimes it's not even sometimes, most times, given that, I have very different experiences. I've liked the concept of my most recent experience where an expression like every time we'll just do like a rain check, check in, are we, because I've had situations where I've disclosed to people that I'm not looking for anything serious. And, with women, like George is saying, it changes, right? So, we'll do like
Mm.
monthly check-ins like, hey, I know you said you don't want anything serious, but you're starting to act like you're wanting something serious just because, let's say, I was calling a little bit more and stuff. So let's do rain check on where are we, So a rain check would be nice every so often. It doesn't have to be like, oh, sit down conversation, but it can just be like, hey, given that this is what we talked about, is this something that you're still on track for or what? I think, yeah.
Mm.
True.
Okay. So I think we'll wrap things up with this last question. And my question is, let me start with George.
Mhm.
So what are the expectations, right? Like once you've started exclusively dating someone, what are you expecting from them? Because at this point you're exclusively dating, but you're not in the relationship yet, right? So what's
Mm.
the expectation?
Well, at least if like I said, monogamous, I should be the only Ronaldo at this point, right?
Mm.
At the very least, maybe
Mm-hmm.
the only Ronaldo, right?
Yep.
And I think just I would also expect you to want to know me more, right? So I know
Okay.
there's the engagement part which I talked about in the talking stage, but I also want to see that you want to get to know me as a person. I'm not just someone who you go out on dates with, right?
Mm.
I'm not just someone who, when you're like, I need a cuddle buddy, come over. I wouldn't be opposed to it, right? But I want to know that you're interested in me aside from all this other stuff.
So,
That's important to me.
question though, what is the difference in expectations, high level, relationship, once you're in a relationship with this person versus exclusively dating? Because you're still expecting them to be faithful to
Yeah.
you. So
Well,
what's the difference?
um, it sounds like it's a blend now at this point. But
Right?
I would say, okay, exclusively dating is like I go and tell my buddies this is my girlfriend. I mean, no,
Mm.
relationship.
Wait, George, you
Mm.
Let me correct
confused
that.
us.
Yeah.
Exclusively
So
dating
I'm
or
saying
relationship?
no,
Relationship.
exclusively dating. I can be like, well, there's this girl who I really like. This is to my
Okay.
friends, right? I think this is
Mm.
the best way to describe it. Like, oh, there's this girl I like, and then we can go out like on a bash something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, this is, I was about to speak Swahili. Anyways, forgive me. They're like, my guy, my guy friends would be like, yeah, this is George's person, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then I haven't explicitly says it, until later when we're in a relationship, then people are like, this is George's girlfriend, you know,
Okay.
Mm.
this is the missus. Usually that's what they say. This is the
Come
missus.
on, Kenya.
That's
Let's all move
that's when they
together.
know, right? That's when they know, right? So that's the distinction I'd say, you know.
Okay. So like pretty
Yeah,
much in this exclusive dating stage for you, George, like you're pretty much practicing, it's the dress rehearsal for the
yeah,
For a
relationship itself,
relationship.
right?
Hmm.
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
exactly. Yeah,
I
you're not
like
meeting
that.
my family members, yeah,
At all.
unless by at all. But in a relationship, then I'm like, okay, we can pass by home. You can see my brothers. Let's start with the brothers first. Work your way up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before you eventually you meet parents.
I like that a
But
lot.
that can never happen. That cannot happen in the exclusive dating.
I like that a
You need to
lot.
meet the friends first. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I think that was really solid, George. Thanks for that. How about you, Carol? This exclusive dating thing, what's the expectation?
So of course, like for me, because I because I wouldn't know that they're seeing other people, they're dating other people just because that's my personal request. Of course, like just now, oh, we're exclusively dating. I'm with you, you're with me. So like George is saying, simple things like, oh, mentioning to your friends, okay, talking more about your friends and expectations will be a little bit more time, not a little bit, more time actually.
Hmm.
More time with the person. And
I
it's
mean,
not
you
when
freed up the slots for the other two players at this point. You
yeah,
want to spend more
now I
time.
have free time. Okay.
Mm,
So at least now a bit of not most of my personality is coming out, and I would hope at that time that most of his personality is coming out. Like, oh, now I'm
mm,
comfortable to wind down and relax with the person, enjoy time as in quality time, talk about our
Mm.
families, just in more in-depth conversations that are still like not, oh, I'm going to cry or anything if I talk about this, but you just know that, hey, this is something that, oh, I'm passionate about, and this is something just that you just don't disclose to the regular person. And that's all with
Mm.
intention to land into a relationship, right? So I think more of
mhm,
the personality side of both parties need to come out as an expectation during the exclusively dating stage, and
Mm-hmm.
only to prepare for a solid foundation for a relationship. Because now, when you actually
mhm,
ask your person, you know that this is what they're wanting, they're going to say yes. That's
mhm,
important. And then, two, is this something that you want for yourself? Like, do you see yourself, oh,
Mm.
every day, like with this person, like, oh, she texts a lot and I work a lot, and I've told her once before that you should stop texting me. I'll text you, and so you start compromise. That's when the compromise starts, because of course, like partners, there's always an imbalance of people, right? It would have been boring if you dated someone who's exactly like you because you already know what they like. So it's
Mm-hmm.
that's it, and then relationship, and then you guys can that's solid foundation for a relationship. And then even in the relationship, you can now start expressing and be like, oh, remember when I was talking to you and I said I was talking to you? I'll be like, I wasn't just talking to you, I was talking to other people, but you won, you know.
That's so
So
funny. So it comes
accountability,
out.
yeah, it comes out. It even comes out. So eventually, I don't lie. I just hold the truth, for a
Mm.
little bit longer than expected. So
I
yeah.
like that a lot. One last question to you, Carol, because we're at time.
Hmm.
What title do you want the guy you're exclusively dating to use when he's introducing you? So is it
Oh
okay
no.
for him to be like, this is Carol, this is my queen, this is my girl, this is a girl
Queen
I'm
is
seeing?
relationship.
Um. No, in all honesty, I would I would not know what I want him to say. I would know what I don't want him to say. I don't want him to say, "Oh, this is my girlfriend," because I
Mm,
don't like
mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, no,
Mm,
okay. And then how people are playing with this word, "Oh, wifey" or anything. No, because I just feel like as guys, just knowing guys and me having majority of guy friends, trust and believe me, I've heard my friends say, "Oh, this is wifey" 10 times, and within a week. So, just don't put me in that cocoon. Introduce me as Carol. Oh, this is Carol.
What
I
if
think
he
you'd be nosy.
says,
You'd be nosy of a person if you ask, oh, who is she to? You'll be like, no, we are getting to know each other. And
what
that's
if
it.
he says, this is my friend, Carol?
Then, yeah, you set the pace for the situation and now treat him as such.
Meaning that you're gonna like retreat? Is that what it
Yeah.
means? So you don't want to be called
I mean, I would express
girlfriend, wifey, or friend, right? Okay,
Mhm.
I feel like that's fair. I think on the girlfriend and the wifey part of it, like let's not use words that we haven't had a discussion about, and also let's not use the word friend because we're definitely not friends, you know, in this
friends.
stage. So yeah. Thank you guys so much again, Carol and George. You guys are such a strong team to do this with, and I'm just so grateful, and I'm sure a lot of people appreciate the wisdom and the knowledge. Thank you for being transparent as well with your experiences. Any last words to the peeps? Carol.
Oh, me first. Stay true to yourself. Be safe physically for the ladies, and set your boundaries and be adamant about it. And trust your process because it's your process, and don't let anyone define it. It will work out. You know, we're all trying to play this game, and no one has it figured that out yet. So yeah, that's what
I love it. I love it. George, take it home. Or take us home. You know, I shouldn't even say anything about home. George, any last words?
Yeah, for my kings out there, just know that we also have boundaries. Let these women not think that they can flash things and we just go with them. But on a serious note, I think it's all about your experience. Everything is dynamic. Things change. There are people you connect with more than others. Just don't rush it, especially on the talking stage. Unless, like I said, if you're quenching your thirst, then you do you. But if you're looking for something proper serious, I think you should pace, especially the physical part. Because I mean, for sure, guys can be touched, but ladies, it's always messy. Yeah. But that's a story for another day.
I like this, guys. I think this was really solid. And actually, I will give advice to men, or a free pass to men, and say that, you know what? If you're taking a girl out and she does what that girl did to George, where she was now getting food for that night, the next morning, day, evening for her family and friends, listen, you don't have to pay. I'm going to tell you right now. Like, I feel like there's unacceptable behavior. And if you don't want to pay, I feel like you guys have a stamp of approval from me. Anyway, that's it, guys.
I concur.
Man, this was just so insightful, guys. It was really a blast, man. Shout out to Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, all these people who made our illustrations come out very clutch. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, hit me up and I can even forward those questions to Carol and George. And again, this is just us speaking from our experiences. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of the day or whatever, wherever you're listening from, morning, evening, afternoon. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. Peace. Ndiwe wandiro ya moyo wangu, ndiwe wandikanganiza fungo zangu.